So you want to talk about that video that I sent you guys of the image consultant Kevin Samuels? Apparently, there was a woman who reached out to him um, who wanted some sort of dating relationship,
Advice.
I guess, advice. So apparently, and I'll try to put a link in the description box for those of you who have not seen it, but I seen it because somebody shared it with me from World Star Hip Hop. But basically, it's a woman who says she feels like she should have a six-figure man. And Kevin Samuels basically laid into her. He was very brutal. But long story short, he told her that she looks average at best, and she a six-figure man. Basically, paraphrasing, a six-figure man is not going to be checking for her. And what I got from it is that he told her she needs to be looking for an average dude. Now, she makes six figures, so I understand how she would feel like she would want a man that makes six figures. But I definitely did. I agree ultimately, even though it was brutal and he could have delivered his message a little better. I definitely agree with Kevin on
You
this
know
one.
how like when you look up something like even on Craigslist or something, it might say within 5 miles. I
Mm-hmm.
think the moral of the story was he wanted her to widen her search range. Like you're being like you want this special man, but
Mm-hmm.
what's making you special? You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? You're average, so you're gonna get an average man. So maybe you need to broaden your search range to other people. You might get a six-figure man, but in reality, you don't think that you're owed that.
Right. Don't think that you're owed that just because you make six figures. Um, Also, I think when it comes to women like her, who he called like average, actually, he said she's average at best, which is basically
She
implying
said that.
he said that.
He set her up. He set her up to for her to just to grade herself, and she graded herself an average grade.
Yeah, see, I don't even think that she
She
has the
says she's
confidence.
a 5, and when she wears her makeup and she gets done up, she's a 6.
To be
That's
honest with you, I don't even think she has the confidence to be with a six figure dude. That's what that says to me.
if you grade yourself a 5 and then say with your makeup on you're a 6.
Yeah, like, because one thing that I feel like he said it that he's a man who makes six figures has such a larger pool
Choice.
of women to choose from. Because if you're a man that's making six figures, you don't care really how much the woman makes. So
Exactly.
for a woman who's making six figures, you're in competition with the waitress, the bank teller,
Mm-hmm.
um, but you're also,
Everybody.
yeah, you're also in competition with the other women who might make as much as you too. So he's not to mention the fact that if you're 35, 40 years old, you're in competition with women who's probably 25 to 40. Or you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying, depending on how
Yeah.
old the man is. And in that pool of women, there's probably a lot of them, if you're 35 to 40, that probably look better than you. So I feel like he was trying to get her to be realistic. Um, and the fact that when you're looking for somebody who makes straight six figures, they have a larger pool while you're making your pool this much smaller. Like, if you're saying they have to make six figures, your pool of men that you're trying to choose from is so small. You and in saying you want somebody who makes six figures, you bet not be saying you want somebody black that makes six figures, because it's going to be even tinier. So you might be wanting to be willing to date outside your race, even if that's one of the standards that you set for
Yeah.
the dating pool that you plan to choose from, because you've ruled out basically a majority of the population of men solely on the fact that they have to make six figures.
But
So
it's sad because she's not the only one that thinks like that. A lot of women think that way, and that's
mhm.
a big problem.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I feel like it was definitely brutal, but when I was listening to him, I was like, I can't, I can't disagree. I can't.
Now you might get what you want, but it might take a little longer, and it might not happen at all.
Also, another caveat to this whole situation um, is, and this probably wouldn't happen often, but you'll have the guy who has a homegirl or knows of people who or interacts with women who he may have known for a long time, or they might be in certain settings to where they do have that in to where he's able to get to know them on a deeper level and like them, versus somebody you just met at like on a random.
Yeah,
I think that that kind of comes into play too, um, because there may be people who we've seen at work or at church or wherever you go on a regular basis, and you're able to kind of like have conversations with them where you maybe normally wouldn't if you were at the grocery store or whatever. You know what I'm saying? That
yeah,
makes sense.
more
So
of a formal setting.
yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah,
As a
but
man, how did that conversation make you feel?
um, I'm glad that he was more the masculine one in the conversation, so he could get his point across.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he feels the way that most men feel. He said it to her in a harsher way than most men will put it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if he didn't put it in a harsher way, the the woman in that video would have been more the masculine one, and she would have started to run the conversation, and she would have controlled it. I think he controlled the conversation because he was more aggressive, and a lot of men, um, they are not able to communicate it the way he did to where the person on the other end would listen. Because there's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of girls.
She really wasn't trying to hear what he was saying, even when he was harsh.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, but I mean that happens a lot. That happens every day. Like there's women that's like that. They think that they're not going to accept nothing less than what they want. So it's like having a terroristic demands, a list of demands.
right. And even when I listen to Rebecca Lamb Pope, she's kind of like on that same thing. She said she's used to be a matchmaker, and she had to stop matchmaking women because they had all these unrealistic expectations that no man could live up to. And as women, I think that ultimately we do want the fairy tale. We want the man who's making a lot of money and gonna make us feel like a princess and whatever. But you can't be so stuck on that you are, because okay, like for instance, this woman, you're saying you want a man who makes six figures. Well, most of the time I'm willing to bet that that's going to come with a level of arrogance that you might not be wanting to deal with. So given the fact that she rated herself a 5 when she wakes up, a 6 with makeup on, ma'am, you might end up being miserable because he might talk to you crazy because he know he could do better.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, these are things like, you want this man, but do you really want this man? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
I feel you on that. I definitely feel you on that.
So I don't know.
It definitely ain't all about the money. But
No, that's why I ain't saying. I mean, I need six figures. I don't need six. Of course, I
but
don't
what's
need
six
six figures
figures
either.
though too then?
100,000 or more.
I mean, I know that, but what six figures are we talking? 100,000? Are we talking 600,000, 700,000? Those are two
When
totally different ballparks.
they are, but I'm gonna give her the benefit of the doubt and say 100,000 just so we can try to widen her pool a little bit.
Because to me,
Um,
that's not a lot of money to me. I don't think that 100,000 isn't that. It's
I
crap.
don't necessarily, I can't speak for her. I don't know that that's what she's talking about, but I feel like in order to give her the benefit, that's what I'm gonna say. But if you're, so you said you need a man who's making six figures because you make six figures. Is it unreasonable if a man makes 80,000 a year for
No,
you to say, oh,
especially if he ambitious.
right? So if you're, because I think she had some sort of, what did they say, pet grooming business or something. So
Hmm.
what if she makes 1 to 200,000? We'll put her 1 to 150,000. I don't know. This is just guessing. Um, if somebody approached you and they made 80,000 a year, is that a deal breaker?
A lot of women will say, "Yeah." I'm like, "Yeah, he needs to be making more money than me."
Mm, I I feel like you could make that your standard if y'all were making less money. If that make does that make sense?
Yeah, that,
So
if
if
you're
you
making
were
40,000 a year,
making 30,000, 35,000 a year, for you to say, I want a man who makes 50,000 or more, I
it's
don't
not.
really feel like that's unreasonable. But when both of you are get either creeping up on the six figure and or making six figures, does it really matter? I mean, I don't know.
Mm.
Because I mean, y'all, unless depending on what your expenses are, both of y'all's combined income, y'all can live a comfortable life. Like,
Definitely.
so, I mean, I feel like there's levels to this when you're talking about, I want to date a man who makes more than me or just as much as me. I don't know. What do you think?
I think those type of issues when it become financial, when you go on dating preferences over financial issues, I
Hmm.
think it's more self-esteem issues or something like that, to where
Hmm.
you need to get yourself self-evaluated. Um,
I don't
I
know.
I think that if you look for a particular type of person that you want to make yourself happy, money's not going to make you happy. Like you said, if
Hmm.
your husband can make over 100,000 and still treat you like crap. So um, I think a lot of stuff. If you have some type of values that you go off of dating wise, I feel like it's a better way to connect with somebody and have a happy life more than finances. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Um,
I
there's,
mean,
there's
listen,
people
there's
that got.
men I know are not making in the six figures, but they would still have that type of attitude. Like,
Yeah,
you know what I'm
definitely,
saying? So,
definitely. But I look at it like when you start talking about values and things like that. Um, if you can find somebody with great core values and they're also ambitious,
mhm,
I think that's worth more than six figures.
mhm. Well, I think what it is with women, or maybe I'm not gonna speak for all women. For me, I don't want to feel like, and please know I'm not making six figures. So let's just put out there right now. So I'm not part of that conversation. But for me, I don't want to feel like I'm taking care of you. I want to respect you in a way to where you're not gonna feel any type of way about me making more money than you. Again,
But why can't we have our own finances and then bring it together and put a common amount of money into those finances? Like, so if I make 80,000 a year and you make 100,000 a year, why can't I still do everything off my 80,000 a year? That don't mean I'm coming to bum 100 and
I
two
told
hundred
you I'm
dollars
not
off
making
you.
six figures, so I'm not even talking in that.
But I'm just
When
saying,
y'all make
like, why
that
do
much, I
people
feel like,
all why do people automatically assume if the woman's making more money, the guy doesn't make anything and can't spend any money of his own, that he's automatically mooching off of the woman? That's not true.
well, no, I'm not. That's not what I said. in my mind, I feel like I just want to make sure when you're talking about broadening your dating pool, I want to make sure we're not in a position where I'm gonna have to take care of you
Yeah,
because
there's niggas making $35,000 a year making seem he could ball out of control with that 35,000 a year,
mm-hmm,
make it seem like it's a lot, and you
mm-hmm,
wouldn't even know how much he was making
mm-hmm.
compared to somebody. You know what I mean? Like I don't. A woman's finances is her finances. Now,
But I can't
when you
say.
start having somebody that's irresponsible with their money and not knowing how to you know what I mean, basic prioritize, that's
Mm-hmm.
more of an issue to me financially than somebody who, because there's people who can make it work off of 35,000.
Yeah, there. I mean, I guess you
Because you
can.
got 35,000 and have some good credit,
You
and
have
people think you got.
35,000 good credit as long as you ain't getting killed in child support. Like, there's so many factors that could go
Yeah,
into this.
there's so many factors. That's what I'm saying. Like,
But
but
I can tell you that when I'm getting to know somebody, I intentionally don't um, ask them what they make, or
no, you
we,
just
we don't talk about like that stuff or
no, you
like.
just sit back and watch how they act with their
Mhm. I
finances.
mean, I guess early in the conversation, it will come up what you do for a living. So you'll probably get a general idea of the pay range with
Not
the
really, then. Not really.
mate.
And I think
Well,
that's where girls get themselves in trouble. You could be an IT person and making 300,000 a year, and you could be an IT person making $30 a month. Like, you know
it
what
all
I
depends
mean?
on how they sell themselves, I guess.
Exactly. Somebody that's work at Best Buy will say he's an IT person just because he
Yeah,
worked with the Geek Squad.
technically he is,
Technically, he is. But then,
but he's
but
not
you, but once you,
IT for
but
like.
once you get that bad experience, well, I'm not even saying that's a bad experience. But once you get that bad experience, then what happens to the person that works for Apple, IT Apple, that's making 300,000 a year, and you ask you what he do for a living, he say IT. Are you gonna have flashbacks to when you
Huh.
the Geek Squad?
He probably work for the geeks. It's like, no.
It's
I
almost like
think,
when you date a dude that he say a rapper. Oh God, hell again.
yeah. I think that just thinking about this whole Kevin Samuels thing with him being brutally honest about this lady, and it just got me to thinking like, are we too uptight when it comes to dating? Maybe everybody just needs to relax
Everybody or
and just
or
get to know each other. And if you make a connection, then I don't know.
easier said than done.
Take it from me. Take it. I know. It's just so hard. I think a lot of times people just overcomplicate things where they don't really have to be that complicated. They really don't.
Humans are untrustworthy to the point where some people got burnt before and they ain't trying to get burnt again. So
Yeah.
they gonna judge the book by its cover almost every time
Mhm.
to try to make sure they don't get burnt.
Yeah, because even though I'm not the type of person who's gonna say, "Oh, I need a man with money on top of money," because this this person dated a woman who tried to drain them dry, they're gonna be overly cautious, like, oh no, we're going 50-50. And then I'm gonna be like,
That's what I'm saying. Most of the time, when they come down to financial issues, there's something hitting. There's a mental issue there. Like her saying that she's not going to date anybody who's not making six figures. Maybe something happened when she was younger, like with her mom or something, where they was
mhm.
struggling to pay bills or something, and she vowed that her family would never be like that. You know what I mean? Like there might be a deeper issue there.
And maybe it ain't. Maybe it's a matter of I worked really hard to get where I'm at, and I want a man to match my hustle. And the way that I feel like it, I can see that he matches my hustle is if he makes the same as me or more.
Or you
It
dated
don't even
some,
gotta
or
be
you
that
might
whole that
you
deep to where it's child trauma involved. Maybe
Or
it
you
ain't.
might have dated somebody who was an aspiring rapper or artist, and you was paying for their bills and everything. And you like, nah. Like next time I date somebody, they're gonna have to be on my level.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Cause
So, I mean, ultimately, do you feel like between men and women, women are the more unrealistic when it comes to dating expectations, or you think we're just unrealistic but in different ways?
different ways.
Okay. How do you
Different.
feel like men are unrealistic?
The man wants his cake to eat and eat it too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Now I'm not. I can't speak for every man. That's one thing I try not to do. That's one of my pet peeves is when a man gets on the show or something and then tries to tell women how men are thinking, and every man doesn't think the same. So
Mm-hmm.
I can't. I don't want to speak for every man, but I do feel like that just watching from a window and being a man, that we want to be spoiled. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? We want our cake and eat it too. Um, it's just that simple.
Mm.
We want a
That
woman, huh?
which is another thing that I was thinking about. This woman who says she needs a man who's making six figures. Even if a man does commit to you, his pool of options is so large that you may have to deal with them being unfaithful.
Or something, and it don't even got to be unfaithful. Somebody could be on the prowl.
But
Somebody
then
could be
again,
trying
I
to take
mean,
what you got.
somebody who's making less than you will be unfaithful too. So whatever. I don't.
Yeah, yep, it's true about that also. So,
So I don't know. I really don't know. I just was thinking about it, and I think that we tend to overcomplicate things where they don't need to be. Maybe people just need to relax.
but it might just be human nature. We want
What?
what we want what we want.
Mm-hmm. Now he told her based on her standards she was gonna die alone.
No, because there's always a sucker out there. Money never changed the sucker. She might mess around and marry a millionaire.
Maybe.
Money
Mm,
never changed the sucker. Guaranteed.
maybe. Maybe. I don't know.
It's knowledge on that beat.